going on, everybody? It's your boy Rakim, and of course I got the beautiful
Candace.
And today we got something real special for y'all. So special, I'm not even going to tell y'all what it is. I'm going to let Candace tell y'all what we got for y'all today.
So today's video, we're going to be doing a story time about how we met and how our relationship started. So I think that I should start it off because it technically started with me. So this all started last year when I joined a dating website or app called Hinge. So I matched a profile with Rakim's picture and I thought it was handsome. We were getting to know each other, asking each other questions, asking where one another is from and what we do for a living. But then I started to notice some inconsistencies in his story. So the more questions that I started to ask, I realized that he was either getting hesitant to answer or just giving me answers that just didn't make any sense. So I asked him if he had any other social medias like Instagram or Facebook, and he told me that he does, but he doesn't use them because too many people catfish his profile or use his image and they're not really him. And from there, that was like a red flag for me because I'm thinking, okay, like there's a bunch of profiles out of this person. So I decided to do my own investigation. And I started searching the name on Instagram, Facebook, and a bunch of profiles came up. And I just decided to go with the profile that had the most followers and like comments that where people sounded like they knew him personally. And then from there, I just clicked on the page and then found his Instagram page from Facebook, and then I noticed that the location that he was in wasn't matching up to the location that the person that I was talking to on Hinge said that they were. So I just asked a girlfriend of mine if they can message the actual profile just to see if this person is the same person that I'm talking to on Hinge. And I didn't want to look crazy in case it really was him and he just didn't want me to have his profile or his social media. And when my friend messaged him, the real Rakim replied letting me know that he's never been to Canada and he has no dating profiles whatsoever. But then he had asked my friend if she always speaks for me. So from there, I'm like, oh no, let me take control. So then I took it upon myself to get on my own page and message him. And then from there is when we started I sent him all the screenshots of the profile on Hinge. I actually reported that page and I deleted Hinge because that was creepy. And then from there, we just started to like talk, comment on each other's stories, and then he was curious about Canada because he's never been, and I've been curious. I was curious about where he was from, and from there we just started to talk. And for me, he was just such a great listener, and he was so interested in me personally, like the questions that he was asking, it just seemed so genuine. So from there, I think we started to talk about traveling, because I told him that I love to travel and it's just something that I enjoy doing. And the part that he was from in the States, I have never been there. So we talked about if I was ever to visit or was in the area, to let him know, and he would want to take me around and show me different places. And then eventually, after talking, I took him up on his offer. And I guess we planned for me to come down to Atlanta, go to Atlanta, and I spent about a week. I think it was about a week, and we went all over the place. Like it was the best trip that I've ever taken. It was the best week of my life. Now, mind you, prior to this trip, we did video calling, talking on the phone for hours and hours, and I mean like all day, all weekend, texting back and forth, swapping stories. It was so sweet. And then when I landed at the airport. I was so nervous. I'm thinking like, okay, I know I've seen him in person, but because of the experience that I had on Hinge and like it just creeped me out. So it kind of made me feel like, okay, am I really going to see this person? Like, is this who's going to be popping out of the car and then approaching me at the airport? And it was, obviously. And I was so nervous. I had butterflies, bubbles in my stomach. I was so nervous. Like, when he would talk to me, I don't even think I could make eye contact with you. I was so nervous. I couldn't make eye contact with him. Like, I was nervous. And how were you feeling about it? How did you feel when you first saw me?
I was a little bit nervous, but I knew from how we talked on the phone, how we video chat each other, that you were authentic. You were who you said you were. There wasn't no ifs, ands, or buts about what I was gonna see coming out of that arrival terminal at the airport.
Right. So like for me, it just seemed unreal to me because he was the first man that I've ever met, ever spoken to, that knew what he wanted, said what he meant what he said, all about actions. Like, I just never experienced that. So I'm like, hey, he's definitely not from here. Like, he's almost like out of this world. He was almost like Build a Man. And I know the ladies know what I'm talking about. Like, and let me just let you guys know, right before I got to know like the real Rakim, I was fed up of dating, by the way. Like, even when I was on Hinge, I wasn't that engaged in it. It was almost like just something to do to pass time. And I decided to make this list of like everything, all the things that I want in a man or a partner, and all the things that I'm going to work on, and all the things that I possess. Like, I had different categories, but a whole list of things. And when I met him, and the more I talked to him, he was just checking off all the things on the list. And then meeting him in person and spending that 1 week with him, just the 1 week, I realized like he overexceeded the things on my list. And then I just felt like it was like an instant connection. It was instant. And then even our first kiss, it was like, for me, I was in love from that moment. Like, that to me was like love at first sight. Literally. Love at first meeting sight. Because I knew what he looked like, and talking to him, I already knew that he was a person that I just wanted to like invest in. And it was beautiful. It was like a movie. It was like Catfish, the story, but like I got lucky because I actually ended up meeting the right person. And like I had all these thoughts in my mind, like, okay, I'm probably gonna find, I never in a million years ever thought that I would actually meet him, like get to meet the real person. For me, I just wanted to confirm that the person that I was talking to on Hinge wasn't him. And I wanted to just report him and get him off. And then let this person know that, hey, this is what's going on, and it's happening all the way in Canada, and he's not from Canada. So that was my intent. I just never thought in a million years that he would even be interested in me. And I feel like it just flowed beautifully. It did. Like, it wasn't forced. There was no push. There was no push or pull. There was no, awkwardness. It was just beautiful, right? And I met him at like at a really crucial point in my life, and it just felt like it was just meant to be.
So just give a little backstory to this. Now, everybody, I'm sure y'all familiar with the TV show Catfish. When an individual is talking to somebody, then they find out that the person that they're talking to, investing their time, isn't the person that they thought it would be.
Right.
And then the person that they thought it would be, just imagine them contacting that person, and
which they do.
They do, but 9 times out of 10, that person is not interested whatsoever.
Right. Or already in a relationship, or just, Yeah, that's usually the case. So because I just really never thought it would get anywhere. And I didn't have that intention, you know? I don't think you did either.
But you tried. You didn't give up. You tried. You know, most people, they would have just left it at that. But you followed up.
I did. We followed each other. So like from there we started following one another. And then anytime like I would see a story, I would make a comment on it. You would comment on my stories. At that time it was nice outside. I was doing a lot of hiking and like outdoor activities, like yeah, you know, and almost like getting like a bird's eye view of Toronto.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it was sweet. I feel like that was a really sweet way, very modernized love story, but I felt like it was just so perfect and meant to be.
Yeah, I think everything is meant to be. Everything happens for a reason.
Right.
It was a reason why we met at that particular time. It was
Right.
a reason why we connected and we bonded so
Naturally, right.
genuinely. Everything was just so smooth throughout the whole process, and we actually had that connection before we even physically made contact and saw each other. So that was something that was great, and I truly loved.
Yeah, it was love at first sight for me. It was like I've never felt that way about a person, and I just thought it was like I felt crazy almost, like there's no way. And I was even scared to let him know how I felt. And I didn't have to tell you. You were the first one to tell me. And then from there I was like, this is not happening. Like you actually feel mutually, like we mutually felt the same way.
That's rare.
It is rare. And I feel like at that time when I met you, you were working so much that you probably didn't have time to even get to know somebody. But I feel like when you just meet the right person, it doesn't matter what you have going on. Like if that person's for you, you're not going to let that person go. You're gonna invest in that person.
And that's exactly what happened in our case. I wasn't looking for anybody. It just happens that all the stars aligned, and that was the person I wanted to be with, the perfect person, and I had to seize that moment and that opportunity and make you mine.
He did. And it all happened. It just all unfolded so quickly and just genuinely. After that week visit that I had in Atlanta, which was the best week that I've ever had in my entire life, okay? And I went back to Toronto and I just felt like, I don't know, I almost felt like empty, like going home and like just being apart from him. I know it sounds crazy because it had only been a week, but like,
that's what happened when you come to the age.
You know? No. It's just what happens when you meet the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with. And that's how I felt. So from there, I was already planning when I want to come back. Like we were already talking about the next time that I would be coming back. Right. So I ended up visiting again, of course. And then after a while, and very quickly actually, we ended up just deciding and talking about we both agreed that we want to spend the rest of our life together. So then we ended up getting engaged and starting this process of basically the beginning of our future together. How we met was kind of like a Catfish version that went right, I got lucky. However, getting engaged and going through this whole process it was kind of like a 90-day fiance vibe almost, if anybody's ever watched that. And because that's the same process that we are currently going through.
I know everybody is so used to seeing the Catfish TV show not working out the way that it was supposed to work out, but I don't know, like who's a catfish in this situation?
Neither of us are the catfishes. However, I was the one that was catfished by someone using your pictures and pretending to be you.
So that made the catfish got catfish.
Right.
In this situation.
Right. So I don't want to say that I'm upset. Like I guess that kind of worked out in our favor.
I think it did.
It did. Like Catfish, whoever you are that was using Rakim's pictures, you did us a favor.
And I don't know who you are, but I would like to personally thank you for impersonating me and making my dreams come. So that's pretty much our catfish turned into a love story, into 90-day Fiancé. Now, in our situation, it worked out for the best. We're not saying that you can't find true love on dating apps, but it actually worked out for us. So I would love to hear from where you and your significant other met. Drop those comments.
Let us
below.
know your
Just
stories.
Let us know how y'all met, and we would love to see those.
Yeah, and let us know what you think about our story. Any questions, like we'd love to answer. Yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed this video and our wacky how we met story. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.
And we'll see you next time.